At No Magic, we think that modeling is the place to start, and modeling lots of types of knowledge. You might think software and other types of traditional modeling, but we go much farther at No Magic. From enterprise architecture to BPMN to goals, roadmaps, and just about everything else in between. We are now modeling stories. Our latest addition to our suite takes a cue from the movie industry and goes even farther than that. As you can see here, we have used one of the UPDM diagrams in order to show the hunting plan version 43.5. This is a pretty complicated diagram, but it is showing how that you can do hunting. An example of where we are going at No Magic is in our Cameo Requirements Plus product. One featured centerpiece of this 4th generation tool is our storyboarding. At No Magic, we do eat our own dog food. We added the storyboarding capability to enhance communications, reduce rework, and thus lowering our risk. Since we have a very diverse team made up of multiple geographic locations, various cultures, and ethnic backgrounds, we needed something to break down those barriers. Programmers are not necessarily artistic, of course, except for when it comes to interpreting a customer's requirement. Basically, we got tired of creativity being part about interpretation. So we created a tool that used modeling to tell stories and to link those stories to requirements and design. But let me be clear, we are deeply linking concepts to requirements, testing, and implementation. We are creating and capturing the corporate memory and linking this to development for long-term retention. But a funny thing happened as a result. Our customers are using this for development, but most are looking at this as a knowledge tool and not necessarily a development tool. Why? Well, stories have been a way to capture data for a long time, ever since the dawn of man. We just added rigor and utility so that the stories link to the process, the requirements, testing, compliance, and so on. And knowledge is truly power, but retained knowledge is renewable power. So if you can tie your art, your process, your video, your story, any other type of multimedia, and your business all together, you can retain corporate memory. We also believe that UML is a great tool for knowledge retention, but what view of UML is important? For example, this SV1, which is a systems view in the UPDM implementation of DODEF and MODEF, uses military icons. Is this informative to you? Maybe not, but it is to someone that knows these symbols. Your corporate culture, domain, or company drives how you want to see models. If you don't see what you are used to, you can't understand it. Or even worse, you find diagrams ugly or uninformative. That is why Visio and PowerPoint are unfortunately popular. On one hand, they help with visualization, but on the other, they really have little information and of course no rules. As an industry, we can deliver. At No Magic, we are always looking for customizing the view, but keeping extremely compliant to the standards. Customers demand that modeling tools think like they do. No Magic's DSL engine delivers you the ability to create custom views. When it comes to corporate memory and preserving it, don't think small. I talk a lot about models, but we need to also link those models with video, text, data, audio, and even art. We have done this with our Cameo Requirements Plus product. One incredible feature that we have is the ability to record that video and gather that information of the person's body language when you're a business analyst interviewing for those requirements, or even the inflection in somebody's voice when you're even just doing an audio file can retain a lot of information. We're finding that somewhere between 95 and 98% of that knowledge can be retained for long-term corporate memory uses. You can also, with one button, publish and push it to the web for collaborating with customers, even if they don't have the tool, because we produce many types of formats, including HTML, as well as OpenOffice and other formats to use into standard Office tools. Preserving the corporate memory is critical, but unless knowledge is modeled, it is worthless. It is just text, or even worse, fragile brain cells that walk out the door with a key employee. Just don't think in the box you're used to. Think out of the box. In closing, I'd like to talk about one of the real problems, and that real problem is change. Your business changes, your people change, ideas change, and even here at the OMG, things are changing too. We used to be all about fixed standards that represented anything like UML. Now the OMG is creating standards for many different vertical domains. We are adding the capability to model all sorts of knowledge. It is time, though, that we started doing this with all of our corporations. Why did this economy fail? Because we forgot a lot of things. The same is true for a small business or a large corporation. Our goal is to improve and grow the capacity to store and retrieve information that is knowledge so that it can be used as well as reused. I would like to thank you for attending today, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to call me or contact me through email. Thank you, and have a wonderful time in Costa Rica.